Good afternoon, everybody. Or more like good evening. It's raining where I'm at. But Carlos, I gave you the mic. Hey, Jason. Hi, Solomon. Hi, Michael. And Metarise. Hi. I'm sorry I missed your space. I was supposed to go, but then I had an appointment. But I'm waiting for my co-host to start, and our guest is Flower Girl, the Flower Girl. So, but they go by @FlowerGirlsNFT. We met last week. So excited you're here.
We did. Hi, I'm just waiting for Ryan and Mantis as well to join us. But yeah, I'm here. I'm Nikki. I'm here. We're good to go, but I'll just wait for those guys.
Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3.
You sound great. Yeah, we're just testing up. We're early, actually.
Yeah, this week is 1 hour earlier.
No, I mean like we're early. Like we got started early because I'm never early.
Yeah, exactly. I'm finishing my dinner. Give me 5 minutes. I'll be back.
What are you having
No
for
worries.
dinner? What are you eating? I want to know now. I'm nosy.
Let him finish his dinner and then he'll tell us.
Okay, Mantis. Okay.
Let the man eat.
And this is what everyone's tuned into here today. Just me and you once again, just chatting away on someone else's space. I could have beat myself.
We love
for a
talking
moment.
about food. That's one thing we do. Talk a lot. We talk a lot about food.
I'm very
just got
excited for
here
Carlos to come back.
I heard someone saying, I'm going to eat my dinner. And I was like, Nikki has come to the right spot. This is the perfect Nikki spaces. Since that's like, a tradition.
And it wasn't even me. It wasn't even me who said it. It was Carlos. Oh.
On Friday, she's just like, all right, Ryan, fill this time. I've got to go eat a brownie. Like, all right, got a foot long.
I just got a caramel shortbread brownie delivered from Starbucks. Can you just talk for 2 minutes whilst I eat it? And then there was the time I was at NFT London, and I was like, "Okay, guys, can you just talk between yourselves? Because I'm just gonna go to the toilet."
Yeah. Keeping it real.
Oh,
I think that has happened to a lot of people on the Twitter space.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
People always call or things get delivered and things always happen whilst you're mid Twitter space. But normally I have Ryan and Mantis who just kind of step in and just smooth things over whilst I'm just in crisis somewhere.
Yeah, we do a good job.
18.
We don't say so ourselves.
So before we start, I'm going to do a quick housekeeping. We're recording right now, and we're also live streaming. I'm going to be recording this on the Headliner app, so I can cut it up in little snippets because that's my little obsession. And besides the shorts on my YouTube channel, but it's being live streamed to YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter Live, which is on Social Chats, which is my other station. So just an FYI, when you grab the mic, know that we're going to be using your voice and your avatar as part of the promo.
Is Twitter Live different than Twitter Spaces?
Yeah, Twitter Live, you just stay. It's really just a video live stream. So what I'm doing is I'm live streaming the actual space, but then I have my computer set up so I spread it. I just the way I do it. I just like the bigger the screen can look, the better. So the icons, so everyone can see who it is. Pretty much.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds.
So we're waiting for my co-host Carlos to finish dinner. I have to laugh.
You can't rush the man. Mantis said, "I rush him. I want to know."
I'm not hurrying up. I chew slowly. I enjoy my food. It will be like 5 more minutes, and I'm done.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and start because it's like 6:03. We're gonna finish up 90 minutes
savor
sharp.
Every bite. Yeah.
And just the last 30 minutes, we're gonna do Q&A with the audience. So the first 60 minutes, we like to talk about the project and how it got started. It's like a who, what, when, where, why, and how conversation. So I want to welcome everyone. Welcome to the NFTs for a Cause. This is our episode 33. We've been doing this since February. Carlos and I are early adopter to Twitter Spaces. So when we met early last year, we kept saying we're going to do a project together, and then we were asked to do a space to help one of the platforms launch. So the nice part about this was that we were able to like get to know each other. And I've always believed in giving back, and I believe in NFTs because I mean, it's one of the first space I sat in was in February of 2021. I always remember it because it's just so interesting how the community has grown. And you know, back then not too many people were understanding the value of what NFTs are for and why you would want to donate or give back. So with that in mind, Carlos and I came up with NFTs for a cause. We have featured several, I mean, like not several, like tons of different projects. The Giving Block is one platform that we wanted to highlight because they gave a lot. And so I think what it was is I just noticed that my news feed, because the Giving Block follows me and I follow them back, so I always see who they're featuring. And I think they were featuring Flower Girls NFT, and that's when I reached out to you. I was like, oh my gosh.
It was like last week, wasn't it? So we did a giveaway for World Kindness Day, and I was speaking to the Giving Block about that, and then they retweeted it and did some tweets about it as well, because they're doing like match donations and stuff as well with the, you know, obviously when you make a donation in crypto, they're then matching it. So that's how you found us. And then I jumped on last week to have a quick chat. We learned from Carlos that the flowers like to dance to Casey and the Sunshine Band, and here we are.
Who doesn't really? Let's be honest.
No, I think it's true. I think like I have like those lucky bamboo that you see everywhere. You get like a little one for your desk. If I had them around me and I talk to them, they're huge. But then I move, so put them outside, and I notice they're not as doing as great when they're next to me. So I feel like when you talk to your plant, it just calms you. It calms me. I talk to my dogs too. I talk to everybody. I think that's why I love Twitter Spaces.
Same. And I was saying when we were on the spaces last week that we have a real life plant scientist in our Flower Girls community, Plant Man, and he was telling us about how flowers and plants can thrive, like when you're singing to them, when you're talking to them, and like how they're a lot more like humans than we realize. So we sort of touched on this last week, and that's what made me think of the Casey and the Sunshine Band thing again, because it was an iconic moment. And yeah, I'm gonna back mute myself now, but I get very excitable.
I think I sat in one of your spaces early this year. I think you had one of the movie stars in there. It was like really big. I was like really impressed, and I kept on saying I'm gonna reach out to you. Then it's just kind of weird how you popped up in my feed. But you guys you hosted some really incredible spaces. I think it was this year. I think I was in one.
You're probably thinking of Mantis, the songbird of our generation. He's the biggest star that we have on our our spaces every week.
Mantis, he sings us out most weeks, and he's done some fantastic songs. He's covered everything from Lady Gaga to Celine Dion. He did Marvin Gaye the other week. He's just, as I've said and described him as many a time, he is a songbird of our generation, and I'm always in awe of the celebrity in the room.
Yeah.
I love it. So why don't you go ahead and give us a little bit of information about yourself, and then go for each one of your members, and then we can go from there. Because I think what it is now, we'd like to know more about who you are, and then we'll talk a little bit about what you do. And I'm a communication specialist. I'm a publicist, so everything I do is like based on how I would like write or talk to someone about and to get to know them. So everything I do is like who, what, when, where, why, how. So it sounds like, once I put it all together and when I write the blog about it, it just fits a lot quicker, because what happens is we cut up the snippets, whatever we tweet out, it's going to be part of the blog that I write about you guys.
And I hope the title of the blog post is Mantis, the songbird of our generation.
Songbird of our generation, yeah. Talk about a cause. Bobby, do you want to go first since you're the songbird of our generation and introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. So my real name's Bobby. A lot of folks call me Mantis around here. And I'm an artist and a musician. I came to NFTs kind of by accident. It was sort of a passing interest of mine in late and through 2020 and early 2021, and then I came to Twitter just to sort of get more immediate information about crypto markets, and started seeing, hey, there's NFT stuff going on here too, and so, and just immediately, got, Twitter Spaces were starting about this time, and I started jumping into some of those and hearing what was going on, and just yeah, just fell in love with the community and all the talent, and just all the support everywhere, and yeah, started getting my own art out there. And another artist who I became friends with was an artist named Varvara LA, and yeah, just enjoyed chatting with her, and you know, brilliant artist, and I became sort of a go-to person for her, since she's not English isn't her first language, and so she would ask for help naming some of her pieces, or getting feedback. And in I guess August of last year, she started showing me these pictures of girls with flowers on their heads, and she said she was going to start a 10K project. What do you think? And of course, I encouraged her to do it. I don't think she needed my encouragement, but I didn't talk her out of it. And yeah, and she, to my surprise, she asked me to be on the team, because she was planning to give, in addition to 20% to charity, 5% to collecting children's artwork, NFT artwork. Shout out to Caden, who's in the audience, one of the young artists in our collection. And she asked if I would curate that collection, and so of course I said yes. And yeah, and so here we are, almost a year later, still collecting children's art and still doing our thing.
Hi, Bobby.
Occasionally singing for people's entertainment.
I'm done with my dinner, and I want to I don't want to lose the opportunity, because I saw your nickname Mantis, and it reminds me always, of course, the praying mantis. And I always, when I see the word mantis or praying mantis, I remember a good friend. He's living now in Australia. He used to have an advertising agency here, and had one. He was a cartoonist. The problem was he did a cartoon just like once every 50 years. He was so good. I mean, he could have been just like a Jules Pfeiffer in the States or whatever. I mean, he was a genius. And my favorite cartoon, it was something that could belong easily to the New Yorker, was he has a double, just like a space, a double panel framed cartoon, and it has two mantis, okay? One was with the hands on the praying position, and below it said praying mantis. And the other one has his top hands on the hips, just like it was a defiant attitude, and it said, I ACH mantis. I mean, it was it was an ACH mantis. She was not with the hands on the praying position, but on the hips, she's like, I don't care. I don't believe in God. Okay. It was so funny, and the drawing of the actual insects. I mean, I talked to a common friend a few weeks ago. I don't have. They promised me to get me in contact with him, but I thought of NFTs. I hope that he awoke and is making this thing for the NFT world, because he's a smash. It's great.
Yeah, he needs to get out there. So it's really funny.
Yeah, you need those mantises, Mantis. Like, that's hilarious.
Yeah, no, and it's so funny because, and he was very realistic. He's this kind of, the difference. I have been working with humor professionally since being 17 years old, and now I'm 61. So go figure the experience on television here. I am in Venezuela, in South America, and it's incredible the amount of and this guy, my friend who is in Australia, he also had in another agency, in another office he had for the agency, something that was so true. It was a double panel too. In the first panel, there was a woman with a perfect body, and the reflection in the mirror was a horrible body, a fat woman. And in the other panel, it was a guy with a horrible, fluffy, totally fat man. And in the mirror, the reflection was George Clooney or something like that. It was a perfect man. So that's the way, the difference between a man and a woman. A beautiful woman looks at the mirror and only see her flaws and her the hips, and we are a piece of you know what, and but is oh look, I am okay. There's George Clooney over there. I'm there. I'm still looking and handsome, and it's just like a reality. I mean, usually men we are. We feel less ugly than a lot of beautiful women that shouldn't be ever feeling ugly looking at the mirror.
Are you saying that I'm probably not as gorgeous as the man in the mirror?
No, I didn't hear you the last part. Sorry.
Are you saying that I might not be as gorgeous as the man in the mirror?
No, I don't know. I'm not. I don't like to generalize. I'm just debating what he draw, and I think that happens to the majority. The problem is when sometimes something that happens to the majority. I always teach my students in stand-up comedy. I tell them, don't use always, don't use all, don't say everybody, don't use absolutes, because absolutes are potential lies. I mean, you cannot say, I'm going to put, for example, you cannot say that everybody loves pasta. No, it's not true. Maybe you can find people who don't like pasta, and that's it. Or everybody loves sushi. I mean, don't use everybody. You can say most of the people love sushi, or most of the people. I mean, I always try to soften, but using and if you detect it and you check in your relatives, your coworkers, friends, you can find who are the absolutists, as I call them, because they speak in absolutes. I will never do that. Come on, shut up. The next week you will be doing it. I mean, it's just like
let's get back on track.
Everybody loves Nikki, right?
Yeah, you're too dispersed.
Everyone does love Nikki.
What? I was just laughing and writing about mantises in the mirror, and now what?
We're trying to steer this boat back to you, Nikki, because everybody loves you. I'll use that absolute.
Okay.
There's nothing not to love about Nikki.
A rare true absolute.
I don't know. I do have a few haters, but lol, it's just funny. Anyway, Mantis, you are every bit as gorgeous as the mantis in the mirror. Don't you ever worry about that. And now we're back on track. Am I going now, Ryan, or are you going now? Is it me?
It seems like you're talking, so you might as well keep doing that.
YOLO, I shall proceed. So obviously you guys heard from me a little bit last week, so I'm not gonna shall repeat myself because I talked a lot last week, and I will probably talk a lot this week as well. But I'm Nikki. I take care of social and community and collaborations, and as I said, I like to class myself as the chief vibes officer for the Flower Girls. So I'm here to deliver the vibes. And yeah, that's sort of me. I'm just here with these guys. That's me. I don't really know what else to say.
Well, why don't you tell us about yourself and your journey into Web3, and how did you get here?
Oh God, I don't know. It's all been a bit wild. I mean, I'm here. So basically, I think I went self-employed about 4 years ago. I was in a really horrible job, and I just thought YOLO, and I handed my notice in and left because it was just the worst. So I decided to sort of go full-time into content creation, because that's something that I'd always done as a side hustle. And then social media, which I've always done as well. I used to do beauty and lifestyle influencing and blogging and vlogging and stuff. So I've always sort of done this stuff. And then I sort of met a few people along the way as I was navigating my career and trying not to go bankrupt in those, because you just give up your job and you're just like YOLO, and you don't really think it through. And then when you've not got a job anymore, you're like, oh, I've got to do the work and I've got to make the money now. This isn't great. But anyway, I made it 4 years later. But as part of my journey in finding different people and networking and finding work over the years, I was doing some work with a dude called Constantine in Web2 projects, and we've worked together for probably about 3 years now. But Constantine is like friends with Vivara, who Mantis has just mentioned. She's the incredible artist behind the Flower Girls project, and she has loads of other really stunning pieces of art as well if you do want to check out her work. She's got loads of celeb holders. She's just an absolute ledge. Everything she does is incredible. But anyway, Constantine was working with Vivara to help her launch the Flower Girls NFT project. And because I've worked with Constantine for like 3 years, and we've worked on quite a lot of different projects, he mentioned the whole NFT vibe to me, and asked if I'd be interested in sort of getting involved in sort of social and community. And at first I was just like, what? Like, it did take quite a while to convince me, because I was like, what is this crazy new world? Like, what was a load of JPEGs? What's going on? Why is there just a load of monkeys on the internet and everyone's losing their minds? But anyway, I embraced the Web3 space. And to be honest, what sort of onboarded me into it the most is the people that I started to meet when I was like going into Discord and going into Twitter and like meeting different people. It's the community and it's the people for me that really make Web3 and like the experience like as amazing as it is. So once I'd started chatting to people, then I was like, yeah, you know what, because it's at first, because it's completely different and it's like undefined. It's not like a 9-to-5 office job. It's like this whole new world that we're still creating and building, and people are still understanding and getting to grips with. So it's a lot different than your typical 9-to-5 sort of job, but there's a lot of stuff from Web2 that carries over. So my social media, my community management, my love of going out and meeting people and networking and chatting and making new buddies, that actually carries over. Those skills carry over quite well into Web3, and with a little bit of refining, here I am, still here, still chief vibe officering around the world. Ryan and I went to Croatia to speak on a panel there. That was the first time I met Ryan in real life, which was amazing. Then we've been to New York. We went to NFT NYC. We had our Flower Girls event out there where we got to meet loads of our holders. I got to meet this handsome Mantis for the first time as well whilst we were in New York. I now go to all the London NFT UK events. Got friends here. I spoke at NFT London a couple of weeks ago. And yeah, that's sort of me.
You're so great.
I'm a big Nikki fan, if you can tell.
Thanks, Ryan.
Mhm.
I'm a big Ryan fan and a big Mantis fan. It's like my job is just to be a hype girl for the team. So every time I have a drink, I'm in an NFT event. I'm like, oh my god, have you met Ryan before? And yeah, I'm gonna stop now.
Just sounds like you're a good communication specialist.
Communication specialist or chief vibes officer? I'll let you decide.
It's good to have many titles. Synonyms
Well,
Also
for
a
I'm
each
the president
title.
of Women in Communication, so communication is something I always talk about. I give everybody a communication title.
I like it. I'm gonna treasure that one.
Yeah, totally. But the title that I've given myself on the Flower Girls team is Chief Anthropobotanical Engineer, which is like, just this really bizarre sort of phrase that I made up. But mostly I do the development stuff, and I'm Ryan, by the way, I guess. And how I got into the NFT space was early in 2021, 2021. I don't know how we say it these days. I was kind of exploring the space. My friend and coworker Adam had been talking about crypto stuff for a while. I was working at a school as the director of technology there, and I was just not, I don't know, not super interested in it. I'm kind of interested in the tech, but not like everything that was happening. But anyway, I kind of gradually started sort of understanding the how transformative it could be. And what I do when I want to learn something is I kind of come up with a project and to figure out how it works. And um, my daughter and I started a charity NFT called Fork Hunger. It was, to my knowledge, still the first like 100% charity on every side of it. Primary and secondary sales all go 100% to charity. That it was, but it, you know, and through that I met Varvara. She was one of the first artists that said yes. And when I was reaching out to artists to see if they would help out with just kind of connecting us with their audiences by either doing like a giveaway of one of their pieces or doing a piece for the collection or whatever. And yeah, it's through that like friendship, she became one of those people that I would always say yes to. And when she asked if I would come on as the developer, kind of similar to Bobby, like she just said yes, of course. So that's kind of how I ended up, working with the Flower Girl. That gets through the introductions.
That's great. Welcome. So, when you guys came together, I'm going to ask one question, and Carla's going to ask that. I'm like, did we talk about why did you guys come up with the flowers as the theme?
Well, that was, yeah, Varvara. I think Bobby was saying earlier that it was just a thing that she had started creating, and that we're kind of all just vehicles for her art when it comes to that kind of stuff. She's the real like creative genius around all that stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess botanical elements are pretty normal in her work. But yeah, I'm not. That's a really good question. I'm not sure.
Why
how
she started putting them on people's heads.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, what the reasoning was exactly, but I think she wanted to come up with a PFP project. So a figure, from the shoulders up is normal, and then you just stick a flower on their head, and suddenly they're.
I think if I remember right from hearing from Constantine, she had been creating but they were children initially, right. But doing that the flower girls thing with children, and it kind of grew out of that. I think that she came to him with like thousands of backlogged digital pieces that he kind of helped sort through and identify things that might be interesting to the space.
Yeah, I think it's right. Like quite a nice sort of metaphor as well, like for the flowers to be sort of growing out of their heads, like it's like their thoughts and their dreams and everything sort of blooming out of them and growing and creating like life. So whether it probably is very much intentional, but I don't think we've ever really asked her that question. We just all jumped on board and just love the art because it's beautiful. But it is, when you look at it and you sort of think, well, what could it mean? Like it does have some quite nice like metaphorical sort of vibe.
Well, flowers are so universal, right? It's like it's hard to find anyone without some, like experience and admiration of flowers. Like that's just something that kind of everybody experiences. They're such a beautiful part of our world, and they exist on every continent, to my knowledge, and so
everyone loves flowers. Sorry, Carlos.
Yeah, I think it's
but I look at your art. I look
great.
at your pieces, your whole project. I just feel like it's you're gonna see it on T-shirts and purses and phone cases, and the merch is it's so beautiful. And that's gonna be my other question I was gonna ask you more about, because it's so unique, that I see it as something like, like I always believe that when you create a brand, the brand steps out and becomes the lifestyle. And that's why I see the pieces of Flower Girls NFT would head toward, because, or it is already maybe. But I mean, when I look at it, it's so colorful, it's so beautiful, and it's so precise and unique in each pieces. So that's what I was looking at. I was looking at your OpenSea, and I noticed you pinned it up there. I'm pinning stuff. I'm actually using the speech bubble. I'm just putting up some links in there so we can start talking about it as we go along. But that's how I see your pieces are. It's an investment, but we'll go further, a little bit further, and talk about the utilities of it. But I find that it's so unique, and it has like a I can't come up with the name of the artist yet, but I'm gonna send the picture of it to my art critic. That she looks at any piece of art and she's like, she don't care where it's at. She's telling me what period or era it was,
Mm-hmm.
came
Yeah, I
about.
think that the kind of portrait style, I think, is I think kind of like Victorian era sort of a vibe. Obviously with much brighter colors, and the flower piece is unique, obviously. And that kind of, Bavara is a collage artist. That's her main vibe. So it really just kind of the idea of like a generative um project that took a bunch of little pieces that she creates, and like the only thing that was different really about that than what she always has done was that letting a randomization and computer kind of put them together rather than her putting them together piece by piece. Although to hear the stories of the process, it was not that different. At the end of the day, she was super critical about making sure that everything fit in the right spot, and every flower girl that ended up in the collection was you know passed that test of something that she was proud to put her name on. So yeah.
The mic is yours, Carlos. I just had to get that
Well,
out of my brain. I need to ask.
no,
I need to know more.
I just wanted to remind something that we talked about last week, and it was the fact I was telling the story about these violet flowers that didn't want to bloom, and the great grandmother of my kid went come home and talked to them, and it was incredible. In a couple of days, those flowers were blooming, and I wanted to remind you the concept of that flowers are so important because they are just like physical representations of the act of enlightening. When something studies Buddhism and spend years trying to reach illumination, there is a wonderful cult, sorry, in Asia. I mean, they respect the flowers as physical manifestation. It's just like illuminations captured in 3D. It's like a 3D printers made by nature of the illumination of moment that nature has. So they are more than magical. They are more important than everyone can think. And that's what I wanted to remember, because I know that the flower girl did love a lot, and she told me by the end that in her family she had someone I guess it was your mother, that was also communicating with flowers. So there are plenty of cases that they are very, very important for this planet.
Yeah, absolutely.
The other thing I wanted to comment is that the flower girl, she talks, we have guests, I mean, and people who are just like the speakers, the guests, and there are some guests, ones on there, that they speak like their host. And she sounds like a host. I mean, she
Nikki?
speaks
Yeah,
so clearly.
she is. Yeah,
She's so easygoing, so easy on the air, her she's funny, she's fast. I mean, I have been watching growing and careers and see many people in the hosting business on TV and radio and stuff. She does a wonderful job communicating with a microphone. It's wonderful.
told you
She's
everybody
fast.
loves Nikki. Yeah, she's fantastic.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, thanks, guys. This is all too
Just-
much for me.
Just giving Nikki all her flowers. Yeah.
Thanks, Huds. Thanks.
So I wanted to like pin up. There was a story that I found that's someone wrote is AtaliaAshleyFlowers.com. They wrote, "Why the Flower Girls NFT should be your first NFT." I'm gonna go ahead and pin that. So
Yeah, it's a lovely piece, isn't it? She's one of our holders, and it's a gorgeous blog post that she wrote. I love it.
Yeah, she really put it in detailed. Like, she talked about the celebrities who collected your pieces. Did you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I think so. A little bit earlier on in the year, I think it was about March time, maybe, when women-led collections were really sort of pumping. Everyone was sort of getting involved with women-led collections and women sort of empowerment projects. Great time to be alive. A lot of the celebrities, female celebrities who are quite vocal and active within the space, they all bought Flower Girls around the same time, and they all also changed their PFPs to Flower Girls as well. And this was like completely organic. It had nothing to do with us. We had no idea that they were going to do this. It wasn't paid or sponsored or advertised or anything at all. These different celebrities. So we had Eva Longoria, Gwyneth Paltrow, Brie Larson, Reese Witherspoon, a lot of these like female actresses who were also getting quite vocal and quite involved in the NFT space, you know, working with projects, speaking on Twitter. Was it Reese? No, yeah, it was Reese who created Hello Sunshine as well, all about sort of bringing women into tech and Web3 and educating and making sure that our voices are heard and that there's increased sense of equality in Web3. But anyway, all that aside, they all bought Flower Girls. They all changed their PFPs to Flower Girls. As it mentions in that blog post, they were displaying their pieces of Vivara's art in their someplace social galleries. So you could sort of walk through these virtual galleries and you could see hung up there, pride of place on the wall was like one of their Flower Girls. They all have like at least one, some of them have more. And then there was other celebrities who've also picked up Flower Girls. Bill Murray has got a couple of Flower Girls. We've got America Ferrera, who's out of Ugly Betty. What an amazing show. She also has a Flower Girl. There's a few sort of like athletes. Gary Vee, I touched on as well, I think, last week. Gary Vee was a really big supporter of Vivara's and the Flower Girls right from the get-go. So yeah, it was a great time. That's when we really started to we sold so many Flower Girls around that time because everyone was seeing the celebrities with them. And we went up to about a 1/8 floor at one point as well, which was obviously amazing. There was a lot of hype and a lot of buzz. And then obviously the market's in a different place now because of the whole bear market situation. But we still have those holders and we still have this amazing community. I think I mentioned as well, like 98% of our holders don't have their Flower Girls listed. There's only about 2%, so 200 and something out of 10,000 Flower Girls listed for sale on OpenSea on the secondary market. So everyone who sort of comes into our community, it's like a family, and everyone sort of comes in and they want to stay because of what we've built here and the people that we have in the Discord, on social media. Like, it's really, I know everyone sort of says the same about their community, but the Flower Girls community is so unique and so kind and so welcoming. And obviously we'll probably talk more about this a little bit later on, but the charitable component, everyone's here because we share the same goal, the same mission. We want to help people, and then that 20% of all our primary and secondary sales revenue going to children's charities really brings together a like-minded group of people. They're not here to flip, they're not here to like make a quick buck and disappear. They're here for the long term, to support the world around us and to support each other. So it's really beautiful. That was a really long way of answering that question, but that's where we ended up. Sorry.
Great answer.
No, I love it. I think I sat in the Ava Gabor. I never pronounce her right. I just remember her as that the Housewives. Yeah, I just remember her as that. But yeah, I think that's the space I was sitting in, and you guys was hosting a space, and that's probably in March. That's when I took notice. So I just was just hopping in from space to space, and I noticed. And it's just like I said, you never know who you might meet. You never know who you might be in front of you in your live stream or your Twitter stream.
Yeah, it was a wild time, you know. I mean, it's because it it was a really incredible, you know, time in terms of all the momentum and the just excitement around the collection, especially with those folks, um, you know, showing their interest, and but at the same time, like there was all of this stuff going on. So Bavara, our lead artist, is originally from Moscow. That's where she grew up, and she had just kind of escaped Russia, you know, just before, and did a and immediately after the attack on Ukraine, she did a big charity drop. You know, the what was it, the Nightingale of Peace drop, essentially making herself like an enemy of the state, which is an incredibly brave move. But just like so much happening, you know, and her commitment to continuing to care for children, especially, you know, no matter what. And that, you know, that period of just a tremendous amount of sales allowed us to donate a tremendous amount of money to charities like St. Jude and others that have done really great work with what they've been given.
It seems so long ago, but it was only this year. I just remember when how it all started, how all the NFT artists and different people coming together and really create a community, and we were so blessed to be able to meet so many different artists that were donating to the Ukraine and everything. So, but yeah, I wish your artist was here. I'd love to meet her.
Yeah, it's something that the kids got into as well. The young artists, they many of them, dozens of them, made art, you know, with peace themes, you know, anti-war, support for Ukraine kind of themes, and so and they raised quite a bit of money to give to Ukrainian or charities that were benefiting Ukraine, and we were able to buy 3 ETH worth of their work, and that was back when ETH was up over $3,000, and so it was about $10,000, the equivalent of that, that we were able to contribute to those efforts. So yeah, cool to see the kids get involved as well.
Super cool. Yeah, my all-time most ridiculous gas price that I ever paid for anything was one of those children's NFT pieces I bought during some absurd, you know, gas war that I was unaware of and I wasn't paying attention. I think it was Plen's um, Ukraine piece, which the piece was like $20 or something like that, and I paid like $800 in gas for the for the
Different
transaction.
different
You
time.
know, yeah, everybody has one of those.
That is
or
wild.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm like in shock right now. Wow.
it was not on purpose. It's not my proudest moment, but it was a learning moment. You know, like it at least the thing that it reminds me of is a young person that was trying to make a you know positive difference in the world. So it's better than like it being some you know hyped mint that ended up like being rugged or something. So um, obviously, I would have rather more of that gone to you know to plan and to the save the children than to ETH miners at the time. But anyway, that's the story.
Worth it.
Totally worth it. Glad I have it. I don't regret buying it. I do regret maybe not like checking the gas price.
Did you make any T-shirts or anything with it? Did
You
you
know,
make any merch?
I haven't even asked to see if I have the rights to do that. I should. It's a really lovely lovely piece. It of course has like the Ukraine flag colors and a dove piece, I believe, on it. Yeah, we have. I mean, some of the children's art that we've collected, and especially some of the children's art that's been created for our drawing inspirations um, kind of side project is just so cool and um, you know it's something to point to when you know for people that are naysayers about the space and about its potentiality for doing things that are good and important. It's really wonderful to have that to point to.
So tell me about your nonprofits. Who do you pick, and what is the process? And you work with the Giving Block?
We often donate through the Giving Block, yeah. The process of choosing charities has varied at different times. Most of the time, we do our best to include the community in those choices. We kind of usually have a short list that's created that's consistent with our, with our ethos and our yeah, and we're able to give, directly with crypto, just as that's, for the pragmatic side of things, it makes things simpler. But and then we usually it comes to like Discord votes and stuff like that. We've had some challenges in that as well. We really, and, people have significant opinions, especially members of the communities that are served by the charities, which is a super important voice to hear when you're choosing, where to send, what ends up being a tremendous amount of money. um, the people that are directly affected by, and directly benefit from, hopefully, the charities. Having those voices is really important, but it also, presents some challenges sometimes because, as you can imagine, very often when you get a group of people together, not everybody feels the same way about things. So, um, yeah, but we try our best to include our community. And recently we've been, experimenting with what Nikki was talking about earlier, having where a lot of communities do like raffles for stuff or even for ETH, for yourself. Like we tried it out where, what you win is the ability to point our charitable giving towards a charity of your choice. And we've done the same thing last year at our gala and our spring gala. We allowed all of the recipients of awards at that event to choose where I think $5,000 a piece went or something like that. So that was cool. Most of them at the time chose the Save the Children in Ukraine, I believe, because that was so prescient. Um, but yeah,
Yeah. We think we just, yeah, it's kind of what Ryan said. We just have, as a project, our main aim is to support the next generation of blooms, so our children. So in donating to charities, like our 20% of everything that we make goes to children's charities. So we've donated around $600,000 so far to children's charities, which include like Save the Children, St. Jude's, and there's quite a few different ones, because when we did like the main donation, we had a few charities that we listed and we asked our holders to vote, and then we sort of split the funds between each of the charities according to like where the community's votes were. And yeah, that's mostly what we do is children's charities, but obviously we've done some special drops for Ukraine to support the crisis in Ukraine and support the people there going through the war and the hardships there. And we try and be as charitable as possible, because that is what our project is. It's NFTs for good, NFTs for a cause. We donated 0.5 ETH to the Roald Dahl Marvelous Children's Charity for our World Kindness Day giveaway, which we did this week. Because I'm in a different time zone, it's nearly Monday. We've got 12 minutes till Monday, and I'm getting very confused what time and day and life I'm living in right now. But anyway, we did that this week. 0.5 ETH to the Roald Dahl Marvelous Children's Charity, which is an organisation here in the UK that supports seriously ill children. So giving that money and then the Giving Block matching the donations means that we can help I think it provides specialist support for children for like a couple of weeks extra with the nurses that they have there. And we also put some NFTs in Europe's first ever NFT vending machine with our friends at My NFT, and that was at NFT London a couple of weeks ago. So all the proceeds from that vending machine also went to charity. So that was 50% between two charities, one of those being the Roald Dahl's Marvelous Children's Charity. So yeah, most of our efforts are going into it's like support. It's twofold really. We're supporting children's charities, but then also supporting child artists and helping shape both the real world that we're living in right now with our work with charities and the Web3 world by supporting the next generation of artists, developers, innovators, entrepreneurs. They're all kind of the kids that are growing up now. This is going to be their future, and they're going to be pivotal in sort of evolving and landscaping the Web3 architecture as it may be. Anyway, I need a drink. I've got a really dry mouth.
Listen, I need to insist. You have never been in a radio program, or never have been like a lecturer, or never have been in some stage in your life for a few months doing public speaking work. I mean, because I'm astonished how you are so well articulated, the way your syntax is, your expression of ideas. I mean, you are like I'm listening to a professional colleague from years. It's just like you have been years and years in radio. I mean, you should think seriously of making something. I mean, the closest now is like the typical podcast. I don't know if you have one already, but let me tell you, I'm being totally honest to you. I'm 61 years old now, and I have been I've seen a lot of people, and I have been the privilege of and many of the biggest artists in my country here. I did met them totally anonymous. I mean, our biggest comedian, he was an office boy, totally unknown, and he got into a Venezuelan show called something like SNL, just like Saturday Night Live, and he became in the 90s and the 80s and the 90s the first star. It was like crazy. It was like the Venezuelan Eddie Murphy, and I did develop. I must tell you, and I am also a consultant. I have just like a smell. I can sniff out, just like that. Oh my goodness, what a good material you have in that brain of yours. Communication speaking. I mean, you really should make a good use. I mean, keep contact with Tonya. Tonya is an absolute expert too. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, you can't believe the way Tonya handles hecklers, trolls, presidents of companies, people. I mean, just like homeless people, whatever. I mean, it doesn't matter. She's so perfect communicating, and you're so close in her league. I mean, I really, really recommend you to consider the use of that way of connecting with the world. Not only your wonderful drawings, but share with the world. You are gifted for that.
Thank you. I'm not the artist, by the way. Like I'm not the one who's drawn any of these flower girls. I drew farting flowers, and they tanked. But thank you. I appreciate the kind words.
No, but I'm talking. I don't know. I don't really know what's your main job, or what's the main thing you do. But what I'm just telling is whatever. Maybe you are a plane pilot, or I don't know, or whatever your real estate. Send a realtor or something. I don't, whatever, anything, any other thing you're doing to earn your life. I mean, to earn your living. I mean, consider the option of having a hostel. You call. I have a trouble. I learned English reading Mad Magazine when I was younger, so that was my textbook. So I have serious problems with some words in English. In this case, if you have an extra job, you got that hostel job or something like that, right? If you have a second income,
the side hustle, yeah.
I am just the master of hustles. I have about 300 jobs, but I'm not a pilot. I'm not a pilot, and I'm not a realtor. Like, they're way too serious jobs. Can you imagine me flying a plane? I'd see like a cute dog or something, and we'd crash. But
usually you don't see dogs, I think, when you're flying planes.
Yeah, if you start seeing dogs when you're flying, then you're kind of to fly.
You're probably safe from a crash.
I'll have my binoculars on, Ryan. I'll have my telescope going and like, oh.
But you will be. You
Big
will be
cloud that looks like a
wonderful.
dog.
You will be wonderful telling all the passengers, oh, look at the right side, you see the Grand Canyon over there. I mean, this pilot, I've explained a lot what is happening, and if you see outside the window, I mean, you
Yeah,
will
you could
be a
narrate the whole thing.
wonderful narrator.
That's true. On the left, you see the Grand Canyon. On the right, there's a dog 200,000
Exactly.
feet
On
below
this
us.
flight, I will be your chief vibes officer. Bringing the vibes.
Oh, I'd love that, like a party plane.
Yeah.
Oh, and you get on the plane, you'd have to have a shot of Jaeger before you were allowed on board. Never mind plane tickets. Anyway.
I mean, I know Jim was like trying to hit the Virgin Airlines folks to put a flower girl on the side of an airplane at some point in time. These things could all connect.
Well, let's continue on our conversation. I'd like to talk about the partnership with the Dolphin Entertainment. Dolphin Entertainment. Can you tell us a bit about that? And what did it do for your project?
So Dolphin, I think, noticed especially the charitable giving, but also the tremendous IP of the Flower Girls brand, and became interested, reached out. I guess that was in maybe February. We were very excited about the partnership, and it's been I mean, if we're honest, like it's been a slow moving kind of train, because the worlds that they typically exist in, when you're talking about promoting for movies and creating these big things, like you're talking about years and years of lead up to what's happening, and so that's been a trying to figure out the best ways to utilize their what they have to offer in terms of their PR reach and stuff like that has been, a work in progress since then, really. So we're, still kind of sorting that out. They've, been exploring some different branding options and stuff like that. I think, I'm completely with you what you said earlier in terms of the Flower Girls being really fantastic IP that is, that you can build a brand around. We just haven't found the fit yet to make that happen.
Yeah, I see you guys in because like my background, like I do events before the pandemic, but I did one of them was the Chinese Lantern festivals, and I was really obsessed with AR, and so I got into like researching it more. So Snap Camera, I'm giving you a quick idea, but if you guys can get something going with them, because they host they're the Snapchat. So they have Snap Camera where you can build your own AR. So I'd love to see you guys part
Yeah,
of
there's actually an AR that I built forever ago in Snapchat, where you can put like the magenta Venus hair
Yeah, you need
mask
to
on
see.
yourself.
There's a
Pretty
photo
fun.
of Ryan with these beautiful magenta flowing locks.
Yeah,
You, you need to see it. It's pretty special.
I'll
So
have to
now
dig it
take
up.
that. Now imagine going to a flower garden, or because we have it down here where it's like it's all about the flowers and everything. But
Sure.
for people to come, it's just just think about Pokemon. Remember how the Pokemon craze was? Everyone had the
Yeah,
phone
it's
out there
interesting
looking
you
for it.
said that. We've actually just Nikki and I have been meeting with a company called Flick Play that is doing something very similar like that with Web3 properties. That our hope is to because it's got both the the AR stuff where you can put your images on things and take snapshots of that, but it also has the like geolocation stuff built in, and our hope is to have like findable seeds all over different cities, to where people that are just kind of wandering around can actually stumble upon some of the beautiful seeds that we have for our collection.
Yeah,
So that's
like
that's a little bit of alpha, I
benefits.
guess. I don't know if we've talked about that out loud yet.
No, we haven't, but it definitely leads in pretty well. It's, yeah, as Ryan was saying, it's very much like the kind of Pokemon Go experience of taking your NFT and like your favorite project and bringing them into the real world through AR and just really cool technology. And there's benefits. If you're a holder and you have a flower girl, you can then use this app to have these different filters and be able to see your NFT in different places. But then there's also like holders, we might drop some seeds, like by an NFT festival that people are going to, but they can then go and collect and find and see them sort of like live out there in the world. It's still quite early days. We've only had like the first couple of meetings, and they're currently doing quite a lot of work with Disney. So they've been super swamped with like meetings. I listened to a Twitter space with them the other week in PO. And they were talking about that and their work with Disney. But yeah, it's definitely something we've thought about. We've gone from Ryan's gorgeous locks, magenta locks, to this whole Pokemon Go sort of vibe. And it's definitely where things are going. And we're all about sort of giving value to our holders and making things fun. So we try and keep on top of these trends where we can. But we totally agree with what you're saying. Like, that's where things are heading, and it's really exciting.
You guys should reach out to the Snap Camera and try to get a partnership with them too. You can
We'll
work
do
with the
it.
other company, but get a partnership, because then this way, because they're trying to find a different ways of connecting into, and like they have it all built already. And if you can get like a partnership, and then March 8th is like International Women's Month. March, you got till March. It'd be kind of cool if you guys were able to do that, since March was such a big this year I saw a lot of women getting into it, but March is International Women's Month. So
yeah, it's a big one for sure. International Women's Day, and sort of the conversations about women empowerment and equality, like really important topics to have. So, and hopefully by March, that things in the market might have improved a little bit more as well, and we'll start to get back to normality, and things will be a bit less barren and a bit more fruitful and less berry come 2023. So we will see.
And you guys have a lot of events. I'm looking at all your different your special editions, and you have a contest going on right now, or coming up soon in December.
We don't have a contest. We have our 1-year birthday celebrations, which is at the start of December. We haven't fully announced like details and stuff yet, but we can it's going to be very similar to the gala that we had in March. We're celebrating 12 months of Flower Girls, looking back at everything we've achieved during that time and everything that our community has done and achieved during that time as well, because we wouldn't be where we are now, and we wouldn't be able to have made all these incredible donations to charity if it wasn't for the support of each and every person who's been a part of our project. So we're going to look back at that. We're hopefully going to have one of our holders is a recording artist, so she's hopefully going to sing a couple of songs for us live. We're going to have some news that we're going to be able to announce, maybe some awards, maybe even something a little bit gift themed for holders as we come up towards Christmas. But that's some super early in the works alpha that we're talking about there. So we haven't finalized any details, so we can't say anything more than that, but we've got that coming up. And we do on that note, we do have contests quite often. We encourage our community to take part in art contests, where we've had a couple, they've done really well, where they've been tasked with something like when we first launched our seed economy, which we will definitely talk more about seeds. Ryan is like the seed god, and we've got him here today. I remember last week people were asking me questions and I was like, I don't know the answer, but now we have Ryan, I feel so much more relaxed this week. But when we brought seeds out into the world, we had a contest where we encouraged not even just holders, just anyone who's sort of an artist and in the Web3 space to create artwork based on seeds and what they kind of interpret this new economy to be like, where they see the future of seeds, the Flower Girls journey, basically to just create art inspired by the Flower Girls. And we get such an incredible range of entries from people all over the all over the globe. Of all different ages. We have children taking part, all the way up to like established artists in and out of the Web3 space. and the mediums as well. There's some digital art, there's like written art, like poetry, there's like paintings, like sculptures, oils, like all kinds of stuff. And we love how creative everyone gets. And I love, love, love being able to scroll our Twitter feed and just see all the entries and all the positive comments that everyone leaves for each other, appreciating each other's art and each other's talents. And we do try and run those quite regularly. There is potential that we're doing another one with another brand, but again, very, very early days on that one, so I can't really say too much more. But yeah, we do contests and we do drawing inspirations, which I talked about as well last week, which is we do that every sort of week or so with the child artists that we work with, but that's more of a project that benefits our holders and the child artists rather than a contest per se. And also Mantis, our guy, he is the chief children's artwork collector and officer, so when we're talking about the kids artwork stuff, he's defo the one to go to. Forgot the question you asked, but here we are once again. Gonna mute myself.
No, you were just telling me everything you're doing, and I was going to ask you. Next thing was your, because I see that you have a lot of stuff coming up, especially your roadmap. It's not listed, but I guess you get it from your Discord channel. But the Flower Garden Maze is the other thing, talking about the metaverse, because I see so much about that. And also, I want to touch base on your collection of children's NFT, like the artists. Where do you find them? How do you get them? Those kind of stuff.
Yeah, so we have something like 150. Oh, sorry, my 3-year-old just walked in the room. Oh,
it's okay.
Future artists in the collection. Yeah, so we've got something like between 140 and 150 young artists in our collection from, I think, 45 different countries all over the world. We have we're getting close to 800, or between 750 and 800 pieces, individual pieces in the collection. And some of these artists were artists who we were aware of when the project started, and were already on our radar screen. Some of them were recommended to us by different people. Gary V put out a tweet, hey, if you know someone who's an artist under the age of whatever, have them post a link here. And then, so there were maybe 20 or a dozen or so artists at the very beginning. And then, I think they just started bringing their friends into it and their siblings and so forth. And just became sort of a word of mouth, and then other kids and their parents became interested. And so we're at the point now where we have so many artists in our collection. So all the time we're getting new, and we have, if people know of a young artist who's into NFTs, please get in touch with me. We've got an application where people can enter, different, because we do try to vet people a little bit. We don't want people to abuse the system here. That's always a possibility, and so we try to make sure we're collecting from someone who is who they say, and so we try to get some information there that helps us determine that. But yeah, at first it was just okay, here's a handful of artists. I'm going to do my best to make sure they're real people and real kids, and you can only go so far there. But yeah, I'm confident that 99.9% of the art in our collection is from actual kid artists. So yeah, it's it's just a really beautiful community that's formed around the art there in the kids space. And like I said, they're they did a collective effort for Ukraine, and they've done other projects like that for other causes, and we do our best to support those. But they really do have very generous spirits, and they give part of their sales proceeds and royalties, some of them to local hospitals, orphanages, schools, they'll, there are some artists who are, in less fortunate parts of the world. Most of the artists are in the United States or Canada or the UK, in the West in general. But we've got some artists in less fortunate areas, and so there's one example that comes to mind where an artist took his earnings and bought an iPad for these two young artists in Nigeria. Just really beautiful things like that you see all the time, and it's just really motivating to us. I think I can speak to all of us. It's very motivating to see what they're doing for each other, and as Ryan says, generosity attracts generosity, and I think that they're a shining example of that.
A quick message. Ryan also had to duck, so he has had to go because he had something come up. I think we thought it was going to be an hour today rather than 90 minutes, which is fine because we can talk for like 12 hours if you need us to. But
no worries.
Ryan's gone.
Yeah, because I was going to say, if anybody want to pop up on stage with us, ask some questions, or just say hi, you're welcome to. I really love your project. I think just from the aesthetic side of it, but I love the mission, and I really like how your team are working together. I think that's the most important part. And I went on your YouTube, and I looked at your pieces. So we have about 21 minutes left. So I wanted to talk a little bit about, like, you guys started how many pieces on your collection? It says 10,000 was sold out in 30 minutes.
Yep, we sold out in half an hour. It was pretty rapid. We had a lot of support from, we spent a bit of time obviously sort of building the community before Mint, and then we had a lot of support from Gary V as well, who sort of helped with that initial hype. I mean, I feel like out of the two of us, Mantis is much better equipped to answer this question because I wasn't around right at the start. So Mantis, my guy, get involved.
Sure. Yeah, we got that early support from Gary V, which was huge, and I remember it was like right after Thanksgiving, and suddenly, and I didn't know what had happened. I just knew that, oh my God, there's all these people in our Discord. Suddenly, we had a good amount of people in our Discord, but suddenly it was just, I don't think it's an overstatement to say thousands of people showing up, and with a different kind of, the people who were in our Discord had a very Flower Girls sort of ethos, into the charity, into helping kids. It was a very, wholesome sort of group. And then suddenly we have hundreds of sort of more degen types, flippers. And it was, suddenly the culture was very different. And, that's sort of settled down since then, of course. But yeah, that's what told me, hey, something is different. And then I realized, oh, here's Gary V, and he's tweeting about us and is really enthusiastic about us and into helping our project. And so so we had a pre-sale period and sold some portion. I can't remember off the top of my head, but then we had the public sale on December 4th, I think it was, and I don't know what I expected. It was funny. I was actually at the local pharmacy getting a vaccine for my daughter, and got the vaccine. Took her through the drive-through of a restaurant to get her some ice cream, and I was thinking, oh, there'll be more time to watch this Mint happen. But by the time I paid for the ice cream, all the NFTs were sold. And so, yeah, it was 30 minutes about that. The rest of them sold out. And so, yeah, that was just a really big moment. And, I hadn't been involved in the collectibles space, the 10K space up to that point. I'd just been into one-of-one art. And so I didn't really know what to expect anyway from the whole process. And so, but yeah, it was just a real whirlwind of a time, and really from then until the market started going down in the spring, it was just just a mile a minute.
But I think that's what I love about the whole journey in the NFT. 1 minute, no one. It's like going to a party. In 1 minute, no one talks to you, and next thing you know, you're surrounded. So that's how I feel when it comes to NFT.
Yeah, I mean, everything can change in just a moment, and it can go the other way too. It's just it's a very fickle space in a lot of ways too, where people, especially with the flippers, they come in, they get in, they get out, and move on to the next thing. And so, yeah, it's a space that can, you see it go both ways, where it gets people maybe gets people an inflated sense of themselves, but it also can be very humbling.
Yes, I found where on V Friends it has one of the Flower Girls, number 5757 was. I guess they have it on their collection. It's interesting. I just found that.
Yeah. They had, I think Gary V was giving away some Flower Girls through his book games as well. So we onboarded a few new holders during that time from the V Friends family. And actually quite a lot of the V Friends community are Flower Girl holders as well. So there's quite a lot of communication and like synergy between the two, which is nice.
Yeah, some of our biggest supporters came from the V Friends side, and so yeah, thank goodness they did.
So what's next for the Flower Girls NFT?
Well, we're working a lot. But at the minute, our thing right now that we're enjoying and the holders are enjoying is our seed economy and seeds, which will eventually lead to the second generation of Flower Girls, but not just yet, But as the Flower Girls travel back to Venus, when they land back on Venus, that's when the second generation of Flower Girls will be established once they get back there into their Venetian gardens. So at the minute, every single Flower Girl, whether you hold 1 or 101, each produces seeds every day. And these seeds, again, are beautiful pieces of artwork by Vivara, created in her sort of trademark, what's the word? collage style art. So each one is individual, each one is so unique and so beautiful, and you get these every day for free just for holding Flower Girls. And these seeds can be minted and preserved forever, which can be sort of then traded or sold. And we give the holders full IP rights with these seeds as well. So once you've minted one, you then hold all the IP rights for that particular seed. So you can go out there and make merch, or some holders have made sort of clothing items and home interiors and stuff with those, but that's a whole nother conversation. But anyway, as well as that, seeds you can keep hold of, because they are what we'll be able to plant in the future to have a chance at growing one of these second generation Flower Girls. And once the Flower Girls have landed back onto Venus, we're probably going to see some cool new traits in these second gen Flower Girls. At the minute, we have a few Flower Girls, such as the one in Mantis's PFP. Some of the Flower Girls have the blue Venetian skin trait. Some of them have got these beautiful like Venetian hair traits. And there are a few Venus themed traits in the collection which are slightly more rare and are quite highly sought after. And then once the Flower Girls do land back on Venus, I would imagine there would be a lot of cool sort of celestial out of this world traits that sort of crop up in the second gen collection. So seeds will be eventually able to be planted for a chance at getting some of these second gen Flower Girls. And we also have the option where holders can spend their seeds in the seed store, which we named Open Seed as a clever pun. head of OpenSea. So OpenSeed is our holders seed store, or anyone who has seeds. Some people have won seeds through giveaways. Some people aren't holders of the project, but they're in our Discord, and we have a really nice function in there where you can tip and donate other people's seeds. And so perhaps if they've done something nice for someone else, or they're new to the server, it's their birthday, they're helping someone out, you can choose to tip any member that's got their wallet connected in our Discord seeds as like a little, that's really nice. This is a token of appreciation. Thanks for doing that, or thanks for being here. So if you've got seeds, you can then go to our seed store, and in there we have all kinds of stuff listed. We have some in real life stuff, such as our boy Suleiman, who's in the audience, sells mullet wigs, lovingly named the Sully Mullet. You can buy Sully mullets in the seed store. There's other real life items such as like stickers of your flower girls, some photo frames. One of our holders has actually got a 33% discount on a villa in Greece. So if you book to stay at this holder's villa, you can buy this discount in the seed store with seeds, which is really cool. But the majority of the items in the seed store that holders and non-holders, basically seed holders, can buy are like NFTs, allow list spots and opportunities. We've had some really cool stuff in there. We've got some flower girls in there at the minute. We've got some stoics in there by our friend Gabe. We've also had things in there such as a Moonbird's Oddity. We had some World of Women Galaxies in there. We have quite a lot in there at the minute, actually. There's over 300 items listed in the seed store from, we have some communities that we sort of cross-community collaborate with, and they then will put items in the seed store for our holders. We put stuff in there. If you have seeds, you can list stuff in there. It's a marketplace where the currency is seeds, and they're also gorgeous pieces of art in their own right. So that's sort of what we're currently looking at, seeds, how we can continue building this whole economy that we've created. It's really innovative. It's its whole ecosystem in itself. It's really, really clever stuff. We have some token-bound tokens coming up very soon, which will be a collaboration with another project. And it's basically, you can take your flower girls that you own and have this really cool piece of art created, all done sort of algorithmically on the computer technology stuff, vibes. But then you have this extra piece of art which is attached then to your flower girl token, and it gives it that extra bit of value. It's a really cool piece of art by what's the Farmore, the Triangulum project. We're going to do some flower punks with those. They'll be coming very soon. It's all about building, really, building not just in terms of utility, but building sort of friendships and collaborations with other projects, because we're all stronger together, and we like to align with communities who share similar values and ethos to us. So communities who are sort of women focused, who are trying to campaign for like LGBT plus LG, you know what I'm trying to say. I can never say that like list of abbreviations, but
Me
basically
neither.
I can't, it's like, I don't know, it's like a tongue tie thing, but basically communities who are not getting the representation that they need and they deserve. So we want to be part of those movements, improving the world, improving equality, improving diversity, inclusivity, representation. We want to work with those projects and bring benefits to our holders, to their holders, to the Web3 space in general, and to the world that we live in. So that is our current quest.
Yeah, and some fun things coming up for our first anniversary. That's very soon, and some cool things that will roll out for holders at that time. But yeah, just trying to keep things going. It's I'm sure everyone's noticed it's a tough time in the markets, and could get a little worse before it gets better. And so just keeping our heads up and are keeping our chins up and our noses to the grindstone. Just keeping working.
You're so
some dad
calm,
stuff.
Mantis. Yeah. Keeping our noses down, heads to the grindstone, you know. Mantis also raises community spirit every week by singing to us on Spaces, the songbird of our generation. You know, we all have our roles to play in keeping this community thriving, and we wouldn't
So
be
are you
here
gonna
without
sing a song for
Mantis's.
us?
Yeah, what do you got? Do you have a backing track for me?
No, I could.
Oh, he's a diva. Quite often I just
Well,
go
tell
on
me what you want me to look
Spotify.
up. I'll look it up. I'll play it from the background.
Any requests in the chat? Let's see.
Yeah, if anyone has a request and you'd like Mantis to sing you a specific song today, feel free to tweet us, to come up onto the stage and request it, to stick it in Discord. I know there's a bit of a conversation going on in there right now. He's honestly a very versatile kind of dude. It'll go from singing like Marvin Gaye, Heard It on the Grapevine one day, to like belting out some proper harrowing notes of Celine Dion, My Heart Will Go On, the next. Like, this guy, he's got it all. The range.
Well, I want to hear it. Because at 8 o'clock, I'm going to go to Crypto God Louie's. I'm his co-host. He does a music NFT at 8 p.m. So you'll be like, get me ready.
Nice. Well, Mantis, I'm going to see if anyone's requested anything in the Discord. And I hope they've requested something stupid like Crazy Frog. I can just hear you going, bing, bing. Go on, Mantis. Anyway, I'm gonna go to the Discord and stop singing myself.
Well, we have about 6 minutes. Are you ready, Mantis?
6 minutes? I don't normally make him sing for that long.
No, not even. We're closing down in 5 minutes now. At 5 minutes sharp.
Celine Dion is about 5 minutes with My Heart Will Go On. I learned this the other day. But you might want something fresh, Mantis, and that's understandable.
Okay. Well, if that's if the people want to hear the hits, then maybe that's just what we do.
I love this so much. It's all rapidly gone downhill. It's gone from charity and changing the world to, go ahead, Mantis, give us a song. Carlos, have you got any specific songs that you would like Mantis to sing today? Oh, Celine, I'm muting myself. Hang on.
Every night in my dreams, I see you. I feel you. That is how I know you. Go on.
Huh?
Mantis, how has this become your life now?
This is between us. Who are going to show you? Go on. Near, far, wherever you are.
Mantis, I'm losing it, man.
Once more, you open the door, and I feel in my heart, and my heart will go on and on.
It's bringing
There
a
you
tear
go.
to my
There you
eye,
go.
man.
Thank you. Thank you.
Encore! Love!
That was awesome. I didn't think you were going to actually do it, but I'm thrilled. See, this is awesome. What a team player.
Honestly,
the last thing
I just throw songs at him at this point. I think he doesn't even want to come to our spaces anymore because I'm just like, hey, Mantis, sing this. It's become a thing now. But I just love that this is your life, Mantis. You just go to different spaces and just sing Celine Dion, and that's just what you do now.
Wouldn't Mama be proud?
Hell yeah.
So on that note, let's just go ahead and wrap up the space
That'd be appropriate.
before we let you go, because I guess no one wanted to ask any question. I'm going to go ahead and pin up the space I'm going to be at in 30 minutes. So if you guys want to pop in later and sing some more songs, you're welcome to.
I feel
we'll
like
do an open
also
mic later.
if you cut any snippets of the show to share, just make sure all the snippets are just Mantis singing. Like, this needs to be the takeaway from the show. Celine Dion, My Heart Will Go On.
Yeah. Feel free to use any of that if you need to clear a room.
Well, I already gave my disclaimer. I'm planning to use it. So my final, you usually when you write a blog at the end, you have a quote, I
Oh
think
my
that would be
god.
perfect.
The quote at the end, Mantis, my heart will go on and on and on. End quote.
So before we let you go, can you tell our listeners how to get a hold of you? What's the best way to contact? When do you meet? When do you do a space? Your Discord channel? Anything like that you want to share with us?
Of course. Probably the best way to get in touch with us is via Twitter. You can tap onto our PFP here and follow us from there. DMs are open. Feel free to get in touch. You can tweet us. You can head to our Discord, which is discord.gg/flowergirls. Come join us in there. If you're new to the Discord, let us know. We can send you some seeds, give you a warm welcome. All our official links are in our Twitter bio. If you join us on Discord, we also have an official links channel in there, which has our OpenSea page, our special editions, our join inspirations information. There's always someone around, always to chat to you. And we cover a whole host of time zones. I'm in the UK. We've got people all over the world. Every time you check into Discord, there's like a different group of people doing a different shift. So we're always going to be in there. We do weekly Twitter spaces every Friday from 12 p.m. EST. Mantis, is there anything I've missed?
No, I think that covers it. We're all over the place, Twitter and Discord. Make sure you follow. Yeah. Make sure you follow the official links.
Yes, be careful in what you click. And if you're ever unsure or you ever get a shady DM you're not expecting, just do check with us before you click anything, because you got to be safe out there, guys.
It's true.
Yeah, you never know these days. It's been crazy. Carlos, any closing thoughts?
No, I really did appreciate the song. I think she has to add singer to announcer too. So if she wants to get the extra 300 jobs, that's a nice voice. And I think that this is really, well, I want to share something, okay? I shouldn't be telling this publicly, but I have a surprise, and I, as a journalist, mainly, which was my original profession, but humor trapped me, and I was. I will tell you something that you won't forget, that you hear for the first time here, and I told you there is a huge thing coming next year inside this platform that will be called. And I was alone. I was talking to my friend who is into that, and it will be called NF Twitter. Okay, so Twitter will be creating something very special for facilitating NFT activities, and the name will be NF Twitter. I cannot say anymore.
Interesting.
Are you telling us? I'm not
Yes.
sure. Is it a joke or is it real?
No, it's not a joke. It's not a joke. It's not a joke. It's just an advance. It's just like a lot of people here always have been just like I was like, listen, today I was checking. Amazon started in the year 94. July 5 in year 1994. In 1997, I did purchase, my first purchase in Venezuela through Amazon was a wonderful book called 24 Hours in the Cyberspace. By the way, I'm going to give you this idea away because I think you can retake it and reuse it 25 years later. The idea of the book was they chose one day, and that day hundreds of photographers will be all over the world showing pictures relating about the digital life and the cyberspace, which was the huge brand name of the internet in those days. Imagine already 25 years ago. And you know what they did? Every person that did connect on that day, they took the name of the persons, okay, and in the inside parts of the book and also in a CD, everybody who wrote during the day that the same pictures were taken, the names of everybody of the participants were there. I have my book, my name is in there, and I couldn't believe when I was checking the old stuff here, said, my goodness, 25 years ago was this. And my other treasure, just like 26 years old, it was, I did receive, I asked for the Benjamin Franklin's autobiography, but I wanted the English, the British edition, and they made a mistake and they sent me the American one. And I wrote there to complain. And I did receive a very nice letter for a fellow in the customer service, and it said, "Oh, don't worry, we will send you the British edition that you actually asked for, and you can keep the other one." And the signature signed Jeff Bezos, customer service, and I got that trapped in a diskette, just like a piece of the Smithsonian. It's just like a Smithsonian stuff. I have the letter. It was a Hotmail, of course, in that time. Gmail even didn't exist yet. And Jeff Bezos was working with his name, and I have that little treasure with me. I think I can convert that is a nice NFT someday.
It's crazy. I love that.
Yeah. So,
Good old Jeff.
But remember the idea of this book. It was wonderful, and then the book exists. I mean, all the pictures in the book were taken all over the world, in Africa, in Antarctica, in Argentina, in everywhere. I mean, it was a hard copy, hardcover, sorry, and it was wonderful. And it's incredible how early the humanity started to search for good causes or for. I mean, I want to tell this to Tonya because that's the reason I felt that I made click with this NFT for a cause concept, because see, I have been 25 years already close to that concept and close to that helping things issues, not only the humor, because you can enjoy the jokes and stuff, but there is more in life than that. I mean, I like to use humor like a therapy to help people heal. I mean, I don't like to just like to make it too hard or to just like to be critical or to use it as a political weapon or whatever. It's in that humor is magic too, just like painting and stuff. So, but I think, I mean, everybody involved in NFTs here, I think that's a wonderful idea. Just like take one day to say, okay, let's do something similar to that old concept. You can look for the book. It's called 20. You can go right now. It's called 24 hours in cyberspace. That's the name of the book.
Cool. I'll have to take a look at that.
And it's 25 years old. You cannot believe it. And it was people in Africa using the connection. And imagine, and we are talking about dial-up. You remember dial-up sounds?
I think a lot of people, I think they were probably born.
Yeah.
Well, you and I can remember it, but I'm just saying some people probably never experienced it. So
yeah.
Oh no, we know dial-up. Very
yeah.
familiar with that noise. It used to drive my poor grandma crazy. She'd try and ring the landline, and it would be like.
Exactly, that was the first connection, and that book and that experience was under dial-up only. So imagine they should repeat that again, or anyone should do something similar again. I was checking that book yesterday, and I was amazed how fast. Please do whatever you want to do. I mean, time flies. I cannot believe that I was 25 years
You should do a
ago.
space and read a chapter every week. That people would love it.
Yeah.
I think that's what Twitter Spaces could be used for a lot of different things. But I think like if you Graciela, she has a book club, and so I feel like if you love something, you want to share it, just read a chapter a week. But on that note, we have to go. It's 7:38. So thank you, everyone. We'll be back next week with another project for another episode of NFTs for a Cause. We'll be live at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I pinned a tweet. I'll be in Crypto Guy Louis' music NFT at 8 p.m. And then I have my Women in Communication first thing tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Then I'm interviewing a new music app actually on Monday night at 7 p.m. And they're called Verse Music. It's called Verse, VERS. Oh my gosh, I can't. Verse Music. Oh, Music IO. Music IO. So they're new. I'm going to interview them. They're going to be telling some really cool stuff that they're doing with music NFTs and their platform. So, and again, everyone, thank you so much. And I posted the Twitter Live, the YouTube. I'm going to write a blog post about it. And so thank you, Nikki. Thank you, Mantis. And thank you, Carlos. And thank you, everyone, for being here. Bye, everybody. Take care.
Thanks
Appreciate
so
you.
much.
Goodbye. Thank you so much.